What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Nash here. Welcome back to the channel. Excuse me. Now, before we get started with today's video, the road to 200 subs has now come to a close, and we're now on the road to 500 subs. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe we might hit 500 subs by the end of the summer. Only time will tell. But as I have said in previous videos, if this channel does get to 500 subs, I will open up this Korean LOB booster box in its entirety on the channel that I got from my partners at Collector Store. So be sure to check them out. Link and address will be in excuse me, in the description below. By checking them out, not only does it support them, it also supports the channel, and I would greatly appreciate it. On the hopes to potentially pull a Blue Eyes White Dragon, a Dark Magician, a Red Eyes Black Dragon, a piece of Exodia, Monster Reborn, Pot of Greed. The possibilities are out there. However, if this channel gets to 1,000 subs, I will open up this first edition Toon Chaos box in its entirety on the channel that I also got from my partners at Collector Store, on the hopes to potentially pull a collector's rare out of this set. But it wouldn't be the first time that I pulled a collector's rare, because I also pulled this. Freshly pulled out of my Genesis Impact box opening that I did last year is a collector's rare B-Cop from the Underworld. This thing looks absolutely beautiful, you guys. The centering on the back is a bit off from top to bottom, as you guys could tell, but honestly, it really doesn't make much of a damn, because I am going to be getting this card graded, but I never came up with a good opportunity to do so. But with that being said, if you guys want to see those boxes get opened, maybe you guys want more episodes of WWE's Biggest Issue. Maybe you guys want more episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh's Biggest Issue, deck profiles, card discussions, WWE topic videos, or maybe, just maybe, you guys want some premium live event predictions and results. Well, if you guys want all of that and more, my channel is the place to be. So if you guys are new to the channel, and I know that a lot of you guys are, because more than 80% of you guys, literally, more than 80% of you guys are watching the content, but you guys aren't even subscribed. Excuse me. So if you guys are watching the content, you like the content, and you want more of the content, and you guys want more of the content, make sure you guys, as always, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, smash that thumbs up button on this video, and as always, make sure you guys are following me on all of my social media. My ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And I want you guys to post in the comments below answering the question of the day, which basically ties with today's video. But the question of the day is this: which archetype would you guys like to see get new support in the upcoming Corstead Infinite Forbidden? Let me know down in the comments below. And since we're on the topic of Exodia, today's video we have some new Exodia support that will be released in the set Infinite Forbidden. Now, ironically enough, the last time we got any support for excuse me, for Exodia, think about this. It was all the way back in 2016-ish, somewhere around there, in the set Legendary Decks 2. Think about that. Think about that, guys. And I actually did open that box on the channel. So if you guys have not checked out that video, check it out, guys. It was it was pretty cringe, but it was still a pretty good set because we got, not only did we get new support for Exodia, but uh we basically got a pretty decent amount of new cards for Kaiba's deck, for Joey's deck. It was actually a pretty good set. And I never would have imagined we'd be getting new support for Exodia after all these years. So, I believe there are exactly, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are literally 10 new cards to talk about in this video. So, guys, get ready because this is going to be one hell of a ride. And without any further ado, let's get straight into the video. Kicking things off, we have the Phantom Exodia Incarnate, which is a 10-star Dark Spellcaster fusion with question mark attack and 0 defense, and it requires all 5 Forbidden One monster. It literally requires 5 Forbidden One monsters. So I'm assuming that it requires it requires all 5 pieces of Exodia. So I believe there's a card that can make it happen. Yeah, it's actually the next card that can summon this one, but get this, guys, I have never seen this before. A fusion monster with not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 effects on this card. The first effect reads, this card on the field cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So not even Lightning Storm would be able to stop this card from being on the field, which is nasty. Second effect reads, once per turn, if this card battles during damage count, it gains attack equal to your current life points. Okay. Funny enough, Destruct Potion is definitely going to play quite the interesting factor in this deck, which is nasty. Third effect says, once per turn, when a spell trap or effect is activated as a quick effect, you can negate the activation. So in a way, this is sort of like a mini like Solemn Judgment, but it doesn't destroy the card, unfortunately. The fourth effect reads, once per turn during the end phase, you can send one Exodo, spell or trap, or obliterate directly from your deck. Nice little like mini spell and trap roto, which is pretty cool. And the last effect says, once per turn during your standby phase, you lose 1,000 life points. Kind of a bad deal, being having to deal yourself damage, but there is a way you can bypass that. And it's if you have the DD package. Like if you're able, if you have this card plus Triple D Oracle King Dark, you can literally, instead of losing the life points, you actually gain the life points. So as long as you have like Super Poly and you're going up against DD decks, that's quite the formidable, like, that is quite the formidable play right there, which is absolutely insane. Next up, we have Millennium Cross. And no, it is not one of the seven Millennium items for those who are new to Yu-Gi-Oh and never watched the original DM anime. No, Millennium Cross is not a Millennium item. I believe it is Millennium Rod is what they were referencing, but but it is a normal spell with the effect reading: take 5 Forbidden One monster cards from your hand, deck, and or face-up field, and reveal them. Then special summon 1 Phantom God Exodia Incarnate from your extra deck. Then shuffle all face-up monsters you control into the deck, except Exodia monster cards whose original level is 10 or higher, and Millennium monster cards. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn, but you can normal set. After activation, shuffle this card into the deck instead of sending it to the grave. This is basically your fusion card for the whole deck. So, not much else to say about that. Plus, this card basically ensures that you do not deck out, because with Exodia Turbo based decks, you deck out really fast. This card ensures that you do not, which is pretty fucking cool if you ask me. But next up we have the caveman that awoke after a millennium, which I believe this is the one. Yep. This is the one right here. Which is an 8-star Earth Beast. sorry, Earth Beast Warrior with 2750 attack, 2500 defense, and the first 2 effects are once per turn. The first effect reads: if this card is in your hand, you can place it face up in your spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. Second effect reads: if this card is a continuous spell, pay 2,000 life points or reveal a Millennium Cross in your hand. Special summon this card, then you can add a Millennium monster or 1 Sengenjin from your deck to your hand. Third effect reads: cannot be destroyed by monster effects. So this is basically Crystal Beast Ruby Carbuncle on steroids. Not much else to say about that. Enough said. Enough said, people. Enough said. Although I will admit, Exodia, this deck, I'm being honest, is one of those decks that you would not expect to be a really good, like, competitive deck. But based on the first 3 cards that I just talked about, it has the potential, but we don't really know if it really will make its way into the meta. So with this card, it's, as I said, it's basically Ruby Carbuncle on steroids, and it can't be destroyed by monster effects. It can be targeted by them, but it can't be destroyed by them, which is pretty cool. Next up, we have Golem that guards the Millennium Treasures, which I believe this is the one right here. Yeah, this is the one right here. Which is a 6-star Earth Rock with 2,000 attack, 2,200 defense, and the first 2 effects are both once per turn. And the first effect reads: if this card is in your hand, you can place it face up in your spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. And I believe all of those have the same first two effects. Yep, they all have the same first two effects. So I believe, okay, so Golem and this next one here, which is Shield of the Millennium Dynasty, all plus this guy right here, all have the same first two effects, where if it's in your hand, you can place it face up in your spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. And then the second effect is sort of different. So I believe so Caveman's second effect says pay 2,000, reveal pay 2,000 or reveal Millennium Cross in your hand. Special summon this card, then add a Millennium Monster or Sengenjin from your deck to your hand. Golem says that once it's special summoned, you can add Temple of the Stone Slabs from your deck to your hand, which I believe this is the card, which is a field spell, which we'll talk about that here in a bit. The third effect of Golem reads, the activation of your Millennium Cross cannot be negated. So Solemn Judgment, what is that? Magic Jammer? We don't know him. We don't know him. Imperial Order, what's that? That card's banned. Literally, that's basically that. It's basically that. Now for Shield of the Millennium Dynasty, which I already showed you guys what the card looks like. 5-star Earth Warrior, 0 attack, 3k defense. I've already read the first effect with the rest of the other monsters. This second effect reads if this card is a continuous spell, pay 2,000 or reveal Millennium Cross in your hand. Special summon this card, then add Millennium Cross from your deck to your hand. So in a way, this is literally, so they all have Rhoda effects. So in a way, they're like Strato. It's like running literally 9 copies of Stratos in one Exodia deck. Although with cards like Millennium Dynasty, I would probably put this at 2. Excuse me. Just because of the fact that it's a 3k defender, and it's not often that you see monsters with defense of 3,000. Now 4,000, I can understand that, with cards like Malefic Paradox Dragon, and I think the highest defense we've seen so far is, I believe, with Malefic Truth Dragon, with having 5,000. But having a 5-star monster with 3,000 attack, it's not often. It's not often you see that, but most times you can't out a 3,000 defender unless if you had a fucking beefed up Blue Eyes White Dragon or a beefed up Dark Magician or something. Then yeah, maybe you could out it, but for the most part, you really can't. The third effect of this card reads, cannot be destroyed by spell or trap effects, which is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. It literally can protect itself from spell and trap effects. So again, it's as I said. Lightning Storm, Raigeki, Dark Hole, Harpy's Feather Duck. Those cards. This card is protected from them. But next up we have. Hang on, guys. There we go. Next up we have Millennium Moon. We have Millennium Moon Maiden, which is a 4-star light illusion with 1500 attack, 1300 defense, and the first two effects are once per turn. The first effect reads: if this card is in your hand, you can place it face up in your spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. Second effect reads: if your opponent activates a card or effect while this card is a continuous spell, you can special summon this card, and if you do, your opponent cannot target level 5 or higher illusion and spellcast a monster you control with card effects this turn. Okay, I mean this is basically the big protection card that you need in this deck, and this is an easy 3-of, hands down. Third effect reads: if this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by that battle. Obviously, you still take damage, but neither can be destroyed. So in a way, it kind of protects itself from being destroyed from being destroyed in battle. And it's not a once per turn. It's literally a continuous thing, which is really cool. Next up, we have... yeah, this is the one. Next up, we have Millennium Fiend Reflection. So if you guys remember the original Fiend Reflection, I think from LOB? It's either from LOB, Metal Rares, or Magic Ruler. It's one or the other, but it could be another older set. Basically this card, that card got a retrain known as Millennium Fiend Reflection, which is a 4-star wind illusion with 1300 attack, 1400 defense, and the first two effects are both once per turn, which the first effect is the same as all of the others. You can place it face up in your spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. The second effect is similar to Maiden, but a little bit different. The effect that second effect reads: if your opponent activates a card or effect while this card is a continuous spell, special summon this card, then you gain life points equal to half the attack of one monster on the field. That's pretty nasty, to say the very least. In a way, it's kind of like a much more refined version of cards like Nutri and Z and Red Resonator in a way. But still, it's a retrain of an original DM card, which is pretty cool. And then the third effect, I believe, is the same as the last one, as the last monster. If this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed, which is pretty cool. Which is absolutely insane. Next up, we have Shrine of Iju. Shrine of Iju, which is a field spell. Yeah, I believe this is the one. Yeah, the field spell. So this was the field spell. I don't know what they were talking about when they mentioned Sengenjin. I don't know what that is. Unfortunately, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think those cards are are going to be cards that might be seen in Infinite Forbidden, but we'll have to see. We will have to wait and see. But it is a field spell with 2 separate effects, and the first one is a once per turn, which reads: during your main phase, you can place 1 monster from your hand face up in your spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. Then place 1 Millennium monster or 1 Sengenjin from your deck face up in your spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. You're basically thinning out the deck by taking 2 cards, putting them into your back row. Plain simple. Plain simple. Second effect reads, if a face-up Millennium monster and or Sengenjin you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can place it face-up in your spell and trap zone as a continuous spell instead of sending it to the grave. This is basically... Excuse me. This is basically all the Crystal Beasts in one Exodia deck. There's really, like, no other way to explain it. So, that's actually pretty cool. The funny thing is that with field spells, oftentimes, depending on what deck you're playing, you usually need 3. This one, my honest opinion, I feel like is a 2. Reason being is because of the fact that if you were to open your hand with 2 copies of this card, and your turn comes up and you top deck you top deck a 3rd copy, essentially you have a brick. You literally brick. So that's why I would prefer to put this card at 2. Now decks like Dark World and maybe even Blue Eyes, that's one thing, but this deck, only 2 in my honest opinion. Next up we have Exodia Blaze, which I believe is a quick play spell. Yes, it is quick play, right here. And the effect reads level 10 or higher monster control with Exodia and its original name gains these effects. Pay half your life points. You cannot activate other cards or their effects for the rest of the turn, and also destroy as many cards in the spell and trap zones as possible. Then equip 5 Forbidden 1 monster from your hand and or deck to this card as an equipped spell, as equipped spells that give it 2,000 attack. Damn. Funny thing is that if your opponent has a card that can bounce that can bounce all 5 pieces of Exodia to into your hand, they basically fuck themselves because you automatically win. Because everyone knows that if you have all 5 pieces of Exodia, the Forbidden One, you essentially just win. It's literally GG. Enough said. The other effect reads, the other part of the effect says if this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing. So basically, not only do you have a way to give your monster 2,000 attack, but you also have as well a Mad Sword Beast in the form of that 10-star fusion, which is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And then the last one up, I believe, is this one here. It is known as Raging Hellfire Exodia Flame, which I'm pretty sure TCG, they're not going to call it that. Let's just be real. TCG, they're not going to call it that. But it is a normal trap with 2 separate effects, which are both once per turn. And the first effect reads, if you control a level 10 or higher Exodia monster, destroy all cards your opponent controls. Basically, this card is what would happen if Lightning Storm said that you can use both effects simultaneously. Not much else to say about that. Second effect reads, if this card is in your grave, except during the turn it was set there, you can banish it and activate one of these effects. Add one forbidden one monster from your deck or grave to your hand. Shuffle up to 5 forbidden one monsters from your grave and or banishment into the deck. So yeah, so this is basically your mini like pot of avarice, but you're not drawing cards, unfortunately. So my thoughts on all the new Exodia cards: absolutely insanity. Not sure if we'll ever see Exodia get played again. I know that at YCS, what was it? Oh my god. I'm trying to remember, because I know that Jeff Leonard, the legend himself, here we are, Jeff Leonard. Let's see. YCS Indie. At YCS Indie last year, he actually played Exodia. So knowing him, he's gonna end up playing Exodia at some point, which is possible, but we'll see. But I had already talked about this deck in a previous video. But for those who don't know about the Exodia deck from YCS Indie, the deck consists of all 5 pieces of Exodia, 3 Ignite Gallant, 2 Ignite Templar, 1 Super Quantum Red Layer, 1 Ignis Phoenix the Draco Slayer, a Blue Dragon Summoner, a Purple Poison Magician, 3 Neospace Connector, a Harmonizing Magician, 2 Ignite Crusader, 3 Sublimation Knight, 3 Junk Forward, 3 Aqua Dolphin, 2 Infernal Knight Renaud, 1 Squeak Knight, 3 Fire Flint Lady, and 3 Saravis the Ancient and Ascended, 1 Prohibition, 1 Infernal Arms Durandal, a Moon Mirror Shield, a Magical Midbreaker Field, Fusion Armament, Instant Contact, Instant Fusion, 1 Pot of Prosperity, 1 Ready Fusion, 1 Rhoda, 1 Callbind, and 1 Shade Brigadine. The extra deck has Ignis Power the Mighty Draco Slayer, Elemental Hero Flare Neos, Dark Flare Knight, 2 Flame Swordsmen, a Symphonic Warrior Rocks, a Time Star Magician, 3 Celine Queen of the Master Magicians, 2 Isolde, 2 Tales of the Noble Knights, a Beyond the Pendulum, which now Isolde is banned, funny enough, which is hilarious, a Cross Sheep, and an Appaloosa, Bow of the Goddess, and then the side deck has 3 Santa Claus, 3 Dark Ruler No More, a Harpy's Feather Duster, 3 Hey Trunade, 2 Lightning Storm, 3 Evenly Match. So think about that. It's absolutely... It was an insane deck at YCS Indie. So knowing Jeff Leonard, he's probably gonna end up playing this deck, playing the deck at a future YCS. And I can guarantee you that once these cards get released, he's gonna be playing it and he's gonna make it meta. So that's all I can say about that. And with that being said, guys, that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more card discussions in the future, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and follow me on all my social media. My ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.